Welcome to Real Zeal, a podcast like no other, brought to you by yours truly, Trish Burke.
And James Burke. ADHD is loud, proud and unfiltered.
We are absolutely honoured to bring you all the topics, big to small and everything in between, in a way that is honest, truthful, with a veil of compassion, all in the name of ensuring everyone feels heard and validated.
We can't wait to host a myriad of guests that will blow your mind, and we're going to have candid conversations that will absolutely knock your socks off.
So get your tissue box ready for the tears that you might shed. Pad up, because you're going to piss yourself laughing.
Strap yourself in and get yourself ready for some real zeal.
Well, hello and welcome to Real Zeal, episode 2, season 2.
Yep.
I am your host, Trish Burke, and...
I am your co-host, James Burke, or Burkie as she calls me all the time.
Well, it will get confusing for you, should you have not picked up that we have nicknames for each other.
Yep.
Although my nickname is my name.
Yeah, Trishy. It's close enough.
It is close enough.
My nickname's my last name, E.
Usually people put an E, it's a fondness thing.
Yeah, exactly, yeah.
I forget where your nickname actually came from. Someone just introduced you as Burkie and I accepted it.
For like most part of my life, I was known exclusively as Burkie, and my friends didn't even know what my first name was. It was no, it wasn't a bad thing. It's whatever. And my sister even got known in high school as Burkie's sister.
Well, I think James is a very traditional name.
This is
One,
true, yes.
Two, quite formal. And in Australia, this is the tendency.
Yeah.
We like to abbreviate or give nicknames to show fondness, attachment or care towards another.
Correct. Yes.
Like the servo. A
Yes.
place that I like to frequent for fuel.
Yes.
And a snag. Something I like to eat when I get
Yes.
stuff from Bunnings.
I see where you're going, yes.
I'm just going for
Right.
all abbreviations now. You were not on that train
No,
at
no,
all.
I was like, whose nickname is Servo? Like, what would their full name be if the nickname was Servo?
Severio.
Yeah.
Severio?
Yeah, Severio? Yeah, maybe.
But then-
if I knew a Severio, I'd call them Servo.
Poor
This is the thing.
Severio.
Well, this is the thing. You can't literally just call someone by their name. They have to have a nickname in Australia.
Okay, so for example, there are some names that already sound like a nickname,
Yes.
and you think, how can you possibly make that shorter?
Yep.
And then just abbreviate it to
The first
a
letter.
single letter.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
Exactly.
did that have to be done when there was a step from there?
Yeah.
Hi, I'm Sarah. You can call me Sarah. Okay, yes.
Hey, yes.
That's so weird. It's so Australian. Sorry about the detour. We're already on a side quest.
That's why the light was lit from
The
the start.
light was
We
lit
knew it
from
was
the
gonna happen.
start. We do. So for those that are joining us on YouTube, you get to see our glorious faces and the fact that we are displaying the new merchandise of Real Zeal. Now, Burkie declined to get his ears pierced to wear the earrings from Temu.
Not committed at all.
Such a shame. But we then went for hoodies.
Hoodies.
Because, of course, needed, necessary.
Absolutely.
And
Yeah.
these are lightweight for the seasonal transition into the spring and the summer.
Yep.
And we also have t-shirts,
Yes.
which you'll get to enjoy. And we have hats because we're sun smart, and I forgot that I ordered them from Temu.
She ordered like 12 as well.
Well, it was like a bulk discount,
Okay,
in my
right.
defense. They were really cheap.
You could buy one for $5 or you can buy 12 for $6.
Well, it was a no-brainer. With a $1 addition to get 11 more. So anyway,
yeah,
happy
fair
days.
enough. Yeah.
We both are fidgeting with the Specs magnetic balls.
Yep.
Berkey has green ones and I have the Pantones of the pink purple variety.
Yes.
Very cool. He kind of got me onto them and now...
They have been a recent discovery and now my whole family is obsessed with them. And we now have, well, thanks to you because you gifted Beth and I another couple of sets for my birthday.
This is correct.
Like on the coffee table in the front room. That's where they live. That's their default spot now because they're the perfect like TV watching fidget because it's...
Do you have the orange set?
Yes. So we've got the orange set and two of these sets actually.
The green.
And so it's great because like now just like if we're going to watch TV or someone like comes in to join us watching TV.
It's like grab your balls
he just
and have
grabs
a go.
a set of balls on the way. And
Grab a set of balls! Sorry.
I mean, what?
I am like a grade 3 child.
true.
Sorry about that.
That's why we bounce.
So here we are. Those of you that are listening on the airwaves, excellent to have you. You don't know what we look like. Do we still need to play this game, or do we feel like people should just catch on and watch the other episodes that we've
Because
previously
I'm wondering
recorded?
if like I'm the new co-host and I'm here to stay, whether it's just going to get a bit old after a while of
It will.
us describing the same person over
This
and
is
over
true.
again.
Well, Berkey's a gent and I'm a lady.
Not.
I'm not a gent.
What? I mean, it's true.
Well, you're not a lady.
This is also true.
Anyway, we are friends, not relatives, with the same surname.
That is correct.
And we both are loud, proud ADHDers in our own way. So our neurotype definitely presents differently. And it's very exciting.
And it has led to a whole bunch of rediscovery of new or renewed friendship over the last year or so, after knowing each other like 20 years ago. And now that we both know that we're loud and proud and ADHDers, it's just like freedom. We can actually be ourselves and love it. It's great. It's so
It is
good.
great. And we do a bit of swapping of notes as well as peers in the late diagnoses space.
Yes.
About what things have helped us, what kind of strategies we use that actually maybe don't work at all, but we think that they are helping psychologically just by applying them.
Yeah.
And yeah, we think that bringing some real Zeal perspective from both a male and female perspective might help with the relatability.
Absolutely.
For those of you out there exploring your neurotype,
Yep.
which we all have a neurotype, and they're like fingerprints. Everyone's fingerprints are different. Everyone's neurotype is different. You don't have to be neurodivergent or neurotypical or sit in one category or the other.
Nope.
You can just know yourself. And knowledge is power.
Knowledge is power. That is very much one of the big things that I really love about, not like even before I started the ADHD diagnosis journey, was that there always seemed to be that the more you got to know yourself, the not necessarily easier it was to deal with things, but it just allows you to kind of navigate the stuff that goes on in life a bit easier than if you are kind of just feeling like you're a passenger in your own body and brain, taken along for the ride with no input into what's going on.
That's a really great analogy because I think often, especially, we can either get a bit over comfortable with just plodding along, or we don't want to know, we don't want to do a deep dive, we're just quite happy blissfully ignorant. And no shame on those that are in that space, but there is a real challenge in being able to advocate for what ways work for you, what things work for you and what things work against you in a workflow capacity at work, in a family capacity, in the parenting capacity, in a relationship capacity. All the capacities, it's good to know yourself.
Yeah.
And today we're going to do a bit of a deep dive, aren't we, Burkie? You want to introduce our topic?
Absolutely.
It's
This is something I'm so passionate about, is that everybody needs a psych.
We mean a psychologist, not a clairvoyant or a psychopathic pet or anything like that. So we're just going to lengthen that out. We mean psychologist.
Yes. Or a counsellor, or, someone else that works in that space, a psychiatrist maybe even as well. So, but yeah, I'm a huge believer that everyone needs someone to have a space where you can process things and talk about it and get a perspective from someone who is not a friend or family member, who actually is a bit of an expert in that area and so has done some study in some of those things, and just to help you bring a different perspective to what you're thinking about, to help you figure out why you're thinking things in a certain way or why you're reacting things in a certain way. And I just think it's a huge benefit that everyone should do. My story is I've been seeing a counsellor or a psychologist for the past 13 years, I reckon, on and off.
So Burkie has invested a lot in your mental health and supporting understanding yourself.
Yeah.
There is a cost associated with this financially.
Yep.
But I think that also, where we put our money is something that we value. Yeah. And I think for both of us, we put our money into psychology support sessions because we know that they greatly benefit us, and not just us, but the people in our worlds.
That's it. So I started off seeing a counsellor at the start, and then I had a period where life was getting even more stressful, and I went and saw a psychologist, and I only saw him for like 4 sessions. And then he was like, this is not this is a situational thing that you've come up against where you need a bit more support than what your counsellor's been able to provide. It's like, I only need to see you for a few sessions, we'll help you through this, and off you go.
Awesome.
And it was great, and it was fantastic. And then we'll see my counsellor again, and that went from might be seeing them every fortnight to every month to every couple of months to maybe even once or twice a year, just have a bit of a catch-up session and just chat about what's been going on if I felt like there was stuff in me that I needed to talk about. because one of the things that I found, like, and in my story, I started going to a counsellor in the first place because my wife has an anxiety disorder, and I was trying to figure out how to support her better. And it was, I mean, that makes me sound really selfless and lovely. It was more like I was tearing what little hair I didn't have out.
Your beard hair?
My beard hair. No, I didn't think I even had a beard back then. I had like a little goatee and slide.
Okay.
I know I
So
had a
if
beard.
you're pulling out your goatee hair, there's not much there
It's
to
not much
start
left.
with. Okay.
Because like life was just difficult. Life was
Yeah.
difficult. Her anxiety was not coping well. We had a like 2-year-old by this stage, and I was like, I don't know how to help her, or don't know how to navigate helping her. I was like, but I know, and I was very lucky that one of my friends had moved from doing one job to actually training and becoming a counsellor. And so I was just like, hey, I know you've just started up your business. Is there any issue if I come to see you as a client? He's like, no, we don't work together anymore, so it's all good. Yep, you can be one of my first clients. I think it was his 7th client ever. So I was like right in at the early start.
You're a guinea pig.
I was a guinea pig for him.
But if I'm thinking of the person,
It is the person you're thinking of.
he's a great person.
He is a great person, yes.
rock star.
You've actually had him as a counsellor as well.
100% have.
Which we didn't know until like a few months ago.
And Hugh singing "It's a Small World" after all, which we don't need to sing.
Exactly.
but-
So yeah, and that was just like, oh yeah, I need to understand my wife's anxiety a bit more. And it was amazing because he actually did help me understand what anxiety is and how it impacts her from a mental perspective, not just from what I saw on the outside, which doesn't actually give you any real indication of what's going on for her. And so that was amazing. And that really helped. And that helped me understand things, and it helped me know how I could process what was happening in our lives and what was going on in my own head. I was still wildly ignorant and blissfully head in the sand about my own mental health at this point. But
look, aren't we all?
yeah,
Most of the time, potentially. Maybe
Yep.
more realistic, kind of in the middle
yeah,
section of our lives.
yep.
Can I ask you a question?
Yes, please.
So now there is so much information on the internet.
Yes.
There are so many books, there are so many podcasts out there. The age-old question, can't I just read up on it? Can't I just read up on anxiety? Can't I just read up on whatever mental health situation potentially my partner's going through or my kid's going through? What is the difference? And I know the
Yeah.
answer to this, but like in part of it, the theoretical answer. I'm not lauding my credentials over you, Burkie, but more from a, like, you could have done that.
Well,
you
that's
could have
it,
done
yeah.
an old Google and
Yep.
gone, anxiety is XYZ.
Yep.
This is how you support someone with anxiety, and full stop.
Full stop. Admittedly, this was 2012, so there was not quite as much information out there back then.
Okay, Encarta 95 was passed, but not
Oh,
by
wow.
much.
That's
Sorry,
that's taken me way back. Encarta 95.
That little game on it,
Yeah,
with the little
yeah.
quest, and
Yep,
like
that's it. It was
like like with the side quest lights on, because I'm talking about the quest game. You know, it was medieval.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
Yep.
you had to answer questions, little fact questions, and then you had to go and research
And I
it.
always remember that it was just wildly unsatisfying to beat the game. Because you're just like, you like, oh, cool, I've got the question. Well, I'm going to win. This is going to be fantastic. And just like, congratulations, you've won. And I'm just like, oh,
Yeah, here is a banquet, and that was it.
Yeah.
And a tunic.
yeah.
Yeah, well, okay.
Yeah.
That was unsatisfying, but Encarta 95, a bit lackluster.
Yeah.
And
But
encyclopedias,
It was-
also a bit dated.
it was the closest thing to a game we had on a school computer. So.
Oh my word.
Yep.
Yes, I understand this, except for Minesweeper, but
Oh, yeah.
also we don't know how to play that game. We just clicked the buttons and then all of a sudden we blew up.
Oh, no, we blew up. What
It was
happened?
great. It
What
was
did we do
great.
wrong? I don't know.
Sorry, backpedal
Yes.
back to,
Couldn't I just research this myself?
couldn't you just research it
Yeah.
yourself?
And look, this day and age especially, yeah, absolutely. That's completely valid. There's so much out there, which is wonderful. And yeah, you can. And you can understand things. The big difference, I reckon, of what comes from having someone to talk it over with is the fact that you actually, like when you go and see a counsellor, when you see a psychologist, something like that, you're seeing someone and it's we'll get to this in a second. It's a really daunting prospect the first time you do it.
100%.
It's
One, you got to feel comfortable
scary
with
as
them.
fuck, yeah. And also just like, what are they going to, like, are they going to mess with my head? Are they going to like change
There are
the
no
way I
electric
think?
prods, everyone. So
No.
those of you that are fearing for the worst that are cattle
Do I have to
prods.
lie down on the leather couch and will they show me ink blot tests and ask me what I see about this?
How many other people have laid on that couch? That's
Well,
my big
that's-
question.
Yeah.
Do people actually lay on it? Am I the only one sitting up? Am I the one refusing to
I lay on my psych's
submit
couch
to the process?
sometimes. A lot of the time I'm actually sitting like this, where I just kick my shoes off and sit cross-legged on the couch. But then she can tell how well I'm doing by how far down I'm sinking down into the couch and
How many pillows you have
pulling
on
other pillows up in front of me and things like that.
Cuddle pillow.
Yeah, she's like, I can see what's going on. So this is the thing. What happens is that, especially when you're talking about your own, not even mental health, whatever stuff you're going on, like you don't have to be dealing with a mental health crisis to see someone.
You might just be having a day.
Life's stressful at the moment and I don't know what's going on. Or even just like, I'm a parent and I don't know what to do with my kids in this situation, or my friends are doing my absolute head in, or my parents are doing my absolute head in, and how do I manage these things?
They're all real
Why
places.
are you laughing, Trish?
All of the above. Where's the Z? All of the above option.
And what it allows you to do is just to have this space where you can just go, "Nah, this is what's happening."
Yeah, and it's a no judgment zone.
That's
One,
it.
I think often when you bring it to a peer or someone in your family, there's a bias,
Yeah.
basically.
Yep.
Like, oh, well, they're family, we should be aligned or
Exactly.
whatever. And so I think that can make it even trickier to share
Yep.
openly.
Especially if they know the people that are involved or things like that.
And then they weigh in and there might be defensiveness that comes in. It's not impartial. And I think that's the beauty of going to see
Absolutely.
a psychologist
Yeah.
or a counsellor, is that they are an impartial party.
Yep.
And they can actually call it for what it is after you've done your verbal diarrhea of what the sitch is.
And that's the wonderful thing is, like, they have the ability, and you're in that space for them to be able to go, okay, well, hang on, how has this made you feel? But to just keep asking those little probing questions that so many times we can actually have been thinking about something so much in one certain way that we've just missed an entirely different perspective on it whatsoever.
Yep.
We, our minds get ourselves stuck in these situations where it's purely because we haven't thought about something in another way or in a different way, or we've only thought about it from one perspective, that we think it's a big, massive issue and the world is going to end. The reality is, it's actually not that big a deal, kind of thing. Like, here's a bit of perspective, here's a different perspective.
Also naming feelings. My
that's it,
psychologist is
yeah.
really big at, okay, so what are the feelings that you were feeling around that space? Or, what did that stir up within you? And it's not that whole, let's go back to your childhood and dig that up necessarily, although a lot of the times some of those feelings are deeply embedded.
I've done some of that work, that's fun. Yeah.
I have too, in our childhood experiences and our upbringing and attachment, etc. But my psychologist is really big on saying, hey, Trish, how did that sit with you? How did that make you feel? And in that moment when they said that, where were you? And okay, if you had the ideal support person with you, what would they say to you right now in that space? And then that's the point that I'm a blubbering mess. And like, I would say this. Like, it is a really big deal to be able to, one, not just go, oh, I'm having a hard time, or oh, there's a lot on my plate, or oh, I'm not quite sure how to deal with this situation.
Yep. The
next step of actually making time to process those things, we don't do that in our ordinary day-to-day life because we're so busy.
Yeah.
And the world, whether you think you're not busy or not, you never still yourself long enough to actually sit with the uncomfortable.
Yes.
Which I think is the beauty of, this is my carved out time for this part of the week or this part of the fortnight or month or whatever. And this is my time to actually unpack the stuff and actually deal with it. It's a bit like kind of throwing receipts in a box and then getting to
Tax time.
7-year overdue tax time or whatever.
7-year overdue?
No, I don't do that.
Oh,
I have an
okay,
accountant.
okay.
But I'm saying it's like...
Oh, right.
Like just push it.
Theoretically.
It's like going, oh, here's the thing, and I'll just put it in a box and I won't actually sort it or do anything with it.
Exactly.
And I think it's that actual sorting that is not just cathartic and systematic, but it actually is, there's a healing process in
Absolutely.
that. And there's understanding. And that's part of bettering ourselves,
Exactly.
I think.
And that's one of the things that I think is huge about it, is that I'm a big believer that having that vulnerability to actually let someone else ask some hard questions and prompt whether or not it is all how you think it is going in your head. Because half the time we're to blame for situations we kind of think other people are.
A lot of the time. And from a male's perspective,
Yes.
I think in our Western culture, there is or there has been traditionally a very, you're a guy, brush it off,
100%.
step on through.
100%.
No, don't wear your emotions on your sleeve. Just actually, have a cup of concrete and harden up.
That's it.
There's a lot of that. Or like, boys don't cry. Even those phrases are used in the playground, or come on, toughen up.
Yep.
But we are all emotional beings.
Yeah.
We all have a lot of stuff that we maybe haven't really thought through and picked apart from growing up, and things that blah blah said to you in class that cut deep or whatever. All valid things that have stacked upon layer upon layer.
Yep.
All those extra receipts in the box, so to speak. And we're not dealing with it. And actually carving out time to do that is probably the best way to not end up going, wow, now my receipt box has exploded everywhere. AKA emotions.
Or, nah, I don't like receipts anymore. I'm not going to deal with receipts anymore, and just shut down completely.
Yeah, well, what happens then? The tax man comes after you, which is the emotional tax man in this scenario.
Yeah.
I'm really drawing hard on this analogy.
Yep.
We need to move on, I
We
think,
do.
from the
So,
analogy.
I mean, I can only speak from my own experience.
Yeah, tell me.
But this is one of the things that, building on what you're saying, is huge about you have these things that might have happened to you in your life. You have situations, you have periods in your life where it's difficult, stressful, you're trying to figure out what's going on. And then if you've got this space where you're working through it with a professional, then it helps you to understand yourself better. And I think that's kind of the huge benefit I see out of this, is because you then begin to learn why you think about things in a certain way, or why you have certain thought patterns, and why you always approach this kind of problem in this way. And you start to learn, okay, well, that's my default reaction. I'm aware of that now. And being aware of it is like half the battle if it's a problematic thing. And going, okay, I know that this kind of situation is going to be very anxiety inducing for me, kind of thing. Because every time I've tried to do it before, I've gotten really panicky and don't want to do it and want to try and run away and hide, kind of thing. The minute you realize that, okay, I know that that's what my response is going to be, you're just like, I know that's what's going to happen now. It's not going to take me by surprise. And now there's starting to be choices about, do I try and do it differently? Do I try and...
Do I not go to that thing that sparks up the anxiety?
Do I ask a friend to come with me? Do I put different things into place? And this is where the professional can be someone that gives you those ideas about how to cope with these things as well, and gives you some strategies of what you can try and different ways you can go about it. And in my experience and like in my journey, and this is really funny timing because I had a session with my psych yesterday where she basically graduated me and said, I don't need to see you again.
Oh, mine did that. And I said, I'm not going anywhere. I said, it is important for me to have our monthly check-ins so I don't go cray-cray and blow a foo-foo valve in the Trish language. And she was like, I love this for you.
Well, yeah, I was very much making sure that I'm still allowed to send you the email and book in appointments whenever I want.
Yeah, great.
But she's like, at the moment, where you are, she's like, and this is what it is. It's that you've spent the time, you've learned so much about yourself. You're so much more self-aware with how your brain operates and how you tackle different things. So that she's like, stuff's been going on in your life, and it's wild stuff. Sorry for you guys, you don't actually get to go into it. But it's...
You can forever wonder what wild stuff
I've been up to for the last few weeks. And she's like, and yet like, I can hear you saying to me stuff that I used to have to point out to you a couple of years ago. And you're now aware of what is happening in your mind when a situation that's stressful comes up. And you are then able to go, okay, well, I'm aware of it, but it's not in control of me anymore.
Yeah.
And so, it's really, really empowering to be able to go, I've actually learned a bit more about myself. I know who I am a little bit better. I know how I tick as a person. And that kind of allows me to face life a bit more ready. There's a confidence there. Absolutely. Yeah.
Obviously, when we run in hot to work, a little bit late because the traffic was bad, or, the stuff at home didn't go well that morning. We've both been there. We know that we're not presenting composed and confident.
Correct.
But when you're set up well, you've got everything organised, and you know your material and you know what you're coming into, it actually, that knowledge is power.
Exactly.
That knowledge actually gives us self-confidence in that space, and also the ability to make choices with solid reasoning, as opposed to just, in fight, flight, freeze, just operating out of like the amygdala, just panic.
You're making an informed choice for the first time, as opposed to just being my body's just going to do what it thinks it should do without any input from my brain.
And I think that's the comparison point between thriving and surviving.
Yeah.
So surviving is that kind of like you're just treading water. You're just drawing breath as you're able. You're just keeping your head above the surface of all the life.
Yes.
And then thriving is actually like really enjoying the scenery and actually taking in all of the experiences, not just going, I'm just playing whack-a-mole, man, and I don't really think I'm winning at all. They just keep popping up.
And this is the wild thing, and this is one of the things that kind of took me by surprise when my psych said this, is I'm just like, well, objectively on paper, I'm not in a place where I should be okay at the moment in terms of what I would have thought would have been a trajectory for life. I currently don't have a job. I currently don't know what my next job is going to be, and I've been the primary breadwinner for our family for 20 odd years.
That's huge. They're big
they're big
changes
things. I've had
in life.
big personal projects taken away from me with no input. I have, a family that all have their own different needs due to neurodivergence or other health stuff. And there's zero plan or solidness about what the future is going to look like. And
Human beings don't fare well with that.
No.
We are genuinely control freaks.
Exactly.
Some of us more than others. Speaking for myself, potentially.
Oh, yeah.
That's also a stress management strategy, I will say. So those of you that are A-type control freaks or, obsessed with having your ducks in a row, is okay. It's a coping strategy, and maybe you have some big or little T trauma that you need to work through. Which is not a bad thing, because we've both done the work, and we're not saying that we're the put-together human being, exemplary models of humankind.
I'm unemployed and don't know what I'm doing.
Hot mess, figuratively and realistically, perimenopause.
Do you need a fan?
It's short-circuiting a lot of the time.
Yeah, fair enough. But this is the thing, I'm in this space where on paper, or old me would have thought this is the worst place to be as a just-turned 40-year-old, to be unemployed and not know what's next and have a teenage kid and an almost teenage kid and going, well, who's going to be paying the money to feed them for the next little bit?
They can work at KFC and eat
that's
at
true.
work.
Yeah. But here's the thing, I'm
You're okay about it.
I'm loving this space. I'm loving not having a job, which is really weird to say.
Do you know what?
What?
I've had my 6 weeks of medical leave and
Yeah.
I miss it. I miss being on leave.
Right.
I want to be... Actually, I can't pay myself a redundance package because I need
your own
to.
boss. Yeah.
I'm my own boss. Do not advise that. If you want a redundancy package, don't work for yourself.
Scale, grow, sell, and then be made redundant.
Oh, okay, which requires work.
Yeah, but
Then I would sleep less.
then you could sleep more.
Okay, we need to flesh out this plan, Becky. I feel like it's not very sustainable in the short term.
Maybe this was the plan that I'm having, that someone will just pay me to keep living my life without a job, which I don't think is going to happen.
I think that's a thing called an influencer, but then you actually have to be an influencer and be camera facing we are.
That is,
but no one has to watch us if they don't want to.
What has been my job for the last however long, so
man.
Who knows?
Okay, well, maybe they'll pay us for our good looks just to be breathing.
Hey, someone want to monetize this?
Anyone? You're welcome. Sponsors are welcome. There'll be a slot in the midway point where we can slide in a little bit of whatever you have that we don't have that you want to sell. I don't know where we're going with this. That was a side quest that needed. Can you please dig out of the hole?
Dig out of the hole.
Dig out of the hole.
So
but okay, I will
she'll dig
recenter.
out of the hole.
I gave it to you and I took it back. I take it back. With regards to finding the right fit.
Yes.
Because I think finding the right fit of someone you feel comfortable to open up to is paramount.
Oh, yeah.
And it's a really tricky thing because I was talking to another clinician last week and we were saying, how great would it be, and I'm considering doing this for my practice, is actually having just an hour a week where it's a drop-in to meet and greet. It's not a session. It's just a hi, hello, and a vibe check, basically, to see if you've got a connection, because connection is everything. And if you don't feel comfortable to share, we all know that you're just going to clam up unless you're an oversharer like me, and you'll just tell the man at the bus stop what your feelings are.
Yep.
Sorry, man at the bus stop yesterday, you got all the vibes. You're lucky ducky.
Yeah. And it's huge because, like, at the moment, like, we've had to shop around. Well, I mean,
it's a personality shop
essentially,
around. It's not personal.
In the last year, we've had to change psychologists for both of our kids.
Yep.
Through no fault of anyone's. It's just circumstances have changed, and we had to find new supports. And it was literally just like, I'm again a big believer of that whole you have to vibe with your psych. And so when I was booking them in and speaking to them and they usually want to do a parent intake session first, I was like, hey, here's the story, but hey, look, I don't really want to commit to anything until the kids had a chance to meet you and have a session with you, because if they're not vibing, I'm not going to be pushing them to try and do something where they really don't like it, and it's not going to be helpful for anyone.
No one opens up if they're not comfortable.
Exactly. And this is the thing, you're allowed to choose a different psychologist or counsellor if you're not vibing with them. You don't have to stick with the first one you see.
100%.
You're allowed to change. You're allowed to break up with them. I had to break up with my son's psychologist. That was a bit of fun.
It was fun?
Well, no. It's fun because the psychologist at the very start was just like, hey, this is one of those things where it's just like, hey, if this is not working, we let each other know.
Yeah.
I would have appreciated more than about 2 minutes before we pulled into the car park noticed that my son wanted me to break up with his psychologist that session.
So you could mentally prepare a bit more.
Yeah, exactly.
Have your script ready.
Yeah, exactly. But no, that's right.
It's not you, it's me.
We winged it.
It's us.
I actually did say that because I was like, hey, I get to pull out the line now. I'm just like, it's not you, it's us.
We're not gelling anymore.
Yeah. But this is the thing, like, I found my psychologist, and it was really interesting about that whole kind of dropping in vibe check. I found her because I was doing a pre-interview with her to be on my old show.
Oh.
And so I did a 1 hour pre-interview talking about stuff with her.
So you got a good sense check
And then when we went to come and schedule the interview, she was just like, oh, I'm really sorry. I've just picked up a research fellow position doing some extra research. I'm not going to be able to do anything for like the next several months. I'm just absolutely flat out between my practice and the research stuff. I was like, no, that's cool. And then like a week later, I was just like,
she said practice.
Do you still have space? Are you taking on private clients, and would this be a conflict of interest if I came on as a private client? She's like, really? I'm just like, yeah, like that. Like the biggest thing I was looking for is that vibe, and we chatted naturally and very openly when we were doing the pre-interview. Neither of us thought it was going to become a practitioner-client relationship.
Yeah.
But the fact is that I knew I could talk to you. I knew I could share vulnerably with you. Means that I'm just like, well, that's 80% of the battle there and done. And also because we were both upfront about things. She also has ADHD. So I'm just like, well, this is great because you know the ADHD side of stuff as well. I don't have to try and explain that to you. You know it well and truly backwards and live it. And so I'm just like, this could be a really good fit. And so she's who I've seen for the last 2 and a bit years. And it's been wonderful. And there's a little part of me that's like, oh, I don't get to hang out with them every month now or whatever. Because I'm just like, I said to her, I'm just like, this has been amazing. Thank you for all the work we've done together. I'm just like, it was also fun though, which was really cool. I'm just like, okay, that's what it could actually be like to have a support that's actually enjoyable to do. And
I think self-discovery, there should be an element of discomfort, obviously, when you're picking through the uncertainties and the hurt and the pain.
She made me bawl my eyes out the second session I ever had with her.
All of the feelings, so many feelings, but also there's a real joy and satisfaction when you reach a point of like, hey, we're celebrating these big milestones of, hey, I picked that up before it even happened.
Yeah.
And I actually preventatively put some measures in place that we talked about or built up over the years. It's really, really amazing. And I have a lot from my sessions, a lot of that. I feel like I'm put together, more put together. And I mean, not put together in that I've got it all going on. There's still wheels falling off left, right and centre a lot of the time. But I actually feel...
The wheels are temporary.
Yeah, they are. Well, they're transient wheels.
Yeah.
I'm just always at a pit stop, all
There's
right?
going to be extra wheels coming and going.
Things. Okay, well, this analogy is also interesting. But I find that it's often a real celebration, and I'm often saying now to my psych, I'm really proud of myself. I
Yeah.
caught myself in that
Yep.
spot, and I actually then took a step back and went, let's get some perspective,
Yeah.
take a beat, and then I made a better plan or a different choice than what old me would have done.
Yeah.
Which I think that's always showing growth in ourselves. And I think that grace that it's probably the greatest gift that we could give to ourselves is self-compassion, but also the ability to grow and to know ourselves better so that we can do it differently for the future. Because that grind of the way we used to do it when we were teenagers or young adults or mid-stage adults or older adults, or not even adulting yet, the ways, well, come on now, let's be honest, we're ADHDers, we're still slapping around in some juvenile state of mind.
Literally having a conversation with my 15-year-old last night about how I click so well with all of his friends and they open up to me. I'm just like, yeah, it's because I'm the same age as you guys, essentially, right?
Oh
He's
my
just
gosh,
like, yeah.
that is the same for my teenage son and his friends.
Yeah.
They're like, how come your mum behaves like a 20-year-old or not like our parents? And I was like, because I'm not like them. And I'm very proud about that.
Exactly. So,
I am responsible, just for those of you out there that are listening.
Yep.
I am very responsible.
compassion and self-compare is
Care.
care. Compassion and self-care, not self-comparison, because that's a whole different thing that you shouldn't be doing. That was huge as an ADHD or as a recently diagnosed ADHD at age 37. So
Compassion's not a thing because of RSD, rejection sensitivity dysphoria. We just beat ourselves up.
that's it.
A lot of the time.
But the other thing was just like, I got diagnosed, and in some ways it came out of the blue. Like I had no indication before I started seeing all the TikToks that maybe I might be ADHD, and then I got diagnosed and I am ADHD, and then that kind of opened the floodgates of me starting to re-look at everything in my life up until that point and go, oh, it wasn't that I was doing something wrong.
It
wasn't
the ADHD.
that I'm faulty or just broken or something like that.
And it wasn't purposeful.
And it wasn't purposeful. That's the thing.
That's the other lens of, hey, once you realise neurodivergence is at play, it's not a, I wasn't purposefully ignoring everyone or I wasn't purposefully talking in class trying to be an annoyance.
No.
Okay, maybe that wasn't you, that was me. But
No, that was me as well.
our report's probably identical.
Yeah. And so, like, my psych helped me to relearn some of those thought patterns about these things. You know, some of these things are not your fault. You actually need to learn to give yourself some grace and compassion in these things, because it's not that you're just not trying hard enough or you haven't figured it out yet. It's just like your brain literally doesn't operate that way.
Yeah, and why do we try and make our brains operate in a way that it's not designed to work?
Yep.
It's like a misuse of the tool, so to speak.
Exactly. It's just like, you know, if you were someone that was born with limb difference, that didn't have a leg or something like that, you wouldn't be mad at yourself for not being able to run on 2 feet if you literally only had 1 foot.
I don't understand.
Maybe you would. I don't know.
This is maybe my now I'm so proudly neurodivergent space, but I do not understand how the compassion that we give towards physical difference is markedly different in our world compared to the compassion that we give to internal struggles, the hidden disabilities, the hidden illnesses, the hidden sufferings that you can't visibly necessarily or tangibly see on the outer.
It's wild.
It is
Absolutely
so wild. You would never cover a wheelchair access ramp with crap, so to speak, and then go, oh, soz, like, we just use it as storage and let's just get that access point cleared for you. It might take like 3 hours when some people are free.
Or you can manage. It's not that bad. Other people manage. You'll be fine.
Just try harder. Try to wheel around that stuff. No one would ever say that. Everyone will be outraged. But then, you know, as soon as you're having trouble focusing in a meeting or you're having trouble focusing in class, just try harder to focus.
Oh my
what the heck, man? It's not like my brain's trying to deviate on purpose. Imagine if you actually tried to tell your brain to keep squirreling. Like neurotypicals.
Wow.
Hey brain, I just want to be neurodivergent and like a real
Every
short
few
attention
seconds,
person.
just have a completely random different thought, and then follow that for a few seconds, and then go on another one, and then go
Oh
on
my
another
gosh,
one.
it's literally like getting lost in the forest.
And then like have 3 different songs playing on in the background at the same time as well. But just like not the whole song, just like a 2 lines of each of those different songs on loop.
They should do a neurotypical's experience of neurodivergence. It's kind of like the haunted house, but like a ride where they can't get off and they get all the experiences.
Yes.
Do you think maybe they might like cry by the end of it?
It'll be like the guys that like do the labour pain simulators kind of thing, and have like the
All the cramping.
electrodes
Yeah.
put on their abdomen and cranked up to
We should have a neurodivergent house. And it would be like mind games.
Yes.
That they would absolutely feel like they were completely messed up.
Oh,
after.
it'd break them.
It's the converse of you and I when we started taking medication.
Yeah.
Separately. We don't do it together. I mean, we take our respective meds. Potentially sometimes forget. But, well, you know, there are days I don't take my meds.
Yeah.
But I don't know about you, but like legit, after I took my first dose, about 45 minutes later, I was like, oh my gosh, is this what it's like for the rest of the world? This is so simplistic.
I
It's
can
not
choose
hard.
to do something and just do it?
And execute it to its entirety.
What?
Yes.
You mean I didn't forget the washing that was in the washing machine for 3 days and now it stinks worse than it did before it was washed?
100%. I literally have to walk around sometimes the house with my hand up. I use the hand up strategy. I don't know if any of you out there have heard of it. I didn't invent it. But basically, you put your hand up when you've thought of something to do in the house, and you keep it up till you've done it.
What?
And so it's a very similar thing to going, get the washing, get the washing, get the washing, and repeating it. But I legit, even if I do that and then I start talking to someone else, I'll forget what I was repeating.
100%, yeah.
And so I keep my hand up, and it might have like a figurative piece of washing in it, or something. It might actually have peace. And I legit get it done.
That's good. Yeah.
Or sometimes I just carry the thing, and often people in the household are asking me, why are you carrying that thing? And I'm like, oh, because I'm on my way to put it somewhere, or I'm on the way to deal with it.
Like, but you've been standing here talking to us for the last 20 minutes.
No, but I've remembered because I'm holding the thing. Sometimes I'm holding a lot of things, Burkie. The
is
truth
true.
of the matter is there.
Yep.
But we all need to find our strategies.
Absolutely.
But actually working with someone that is impartial is great, because often people, our loved ones, will try and tell us to do it their way.
Yeah.
Well-meaning, but doing it their way may not be the best way for us. And all of our neurotypes are different, like
This is
we
the
said
thing.
at the start.
There is no just one ADHD diagnosis, and every ADHD person operates in the exact same way.
Those strategies for an ADHD are generally only work for a 2-week period, and then you've got to find a new one because the novelty is worn off.
Yep.
So that's also, you know, the struggle is real there. You need to have a stockpile of strategies that you rotate through, like a rotisserie chicken on a rotisserie.
Yeah.
Oh,
That's what it does.
I could go some chicken.
I could go some rotisserie chicken.
Maybe we could do that after.
I could get some
With
chicken.
some hot chips.
Yo.
Oh my gosh. The chips at
Yes.
those. Oh.
With chicken salt. and
Yum.
then,
It's
and
the
some gravy as well.
seasoning.
Ooh,
So
yes.
good.
You know, it's like mainly just MSG, right?
Yeah, I bought a packet of MSG
Exactly.
from the Asian grocery
How
the other
good is
day.
it being Asian and
It's
knowing
called
that
Yum Yum.
MSG is good?
Add some Yum
and
Yum.
Not actually killing you. And you just
I
have the
know.
bag above there with all the
You
other
just be a
spice
little
in it.
bit thirsty after you have it.
It's like the pepper, the salt, and the MSG up above the stove. It's-
Yeah, it's all the condiments
Yep,
that you would
that's
ever need.
Are we going to get dragged online for our comments on MSG?
Look, too bad, so sad. If you
Yeah.
are not an MSG lover, that's fine. If you do not feel that you would like to talk to someone that is a neutral party, that is fine too.
Yep.
This is a take it or leave it sesh of discussion.
Yeah, it's true.
But I feel like all of us in this world were not created to do it alone.
No.
And having someone that you can talk to that is a listening ear,
Mm-hmm.
but also one that doesn't have a biased
Yeah.
myriad bits of advice is really, really important.
They can just give you some ideas and some suggestions.
Or ask more questions to make you
Yeah.
think a bit harder.
And then
about
they just
it.
get to walk away.
I know, they don't carry it. You know, I'm a bit sad because I actually want to be friends with my psychologist.
right?
I can envisage us, had we have met in a grocery store or, you know, whatever, at a concert or at a bar, I reckon we would actually hit it off and be friends.
Yep.
And I actually said that to her the other day. I said, hey, I just want to say to you that I've got to a point where I feel like I can comfortably say this as a compliment, but if we had met in different circumstances, I would have really loved to have been friends with you. And I understand we're in a professional capacity, and I actually value her in that space so much that I actually...
You don't want her as a friend.
Well, no. Well,
You got enough friends.
you have to choose.
Yeah, it's true.
You have to make the tough choice, and I do have some lovely friends, so I'm happy to keep her. I'm keeping the Burkie, and I'm keeping the psychologist in her space, and everyone gets their own chairs, and it's great. And I've got lots of lovely girlfriends too. So, but she actually took that compliment very warmly and said,
nice.
"I received that in the way that it was intended, and it makes me feel warm." And I was
And
like,
I'm not scared that you're stalking me and want to come around.
well,
to my
no,
house.
I was like, oh, jeepers. Like, I hope she doesn't think I'm going to stalk her, because I do know her last name.
Ooh.
When you work in pediatrics, you kind of try not to, they know your last name, but you try not to, all of your social media accounts, etc., are usually not your clinical treating name. So the kids don't stalk you because they're really good, and now social media laws are changing. Well, we'll just see how they actually safeguard that. That's a whole nother Pandora's box for another episode for the parents out there that may want to know what our deep dive is on that. That could be a future episode.
Yeah.
But
Spoiler alert, don't do it.
don't do the deep dive, or
No,
don't do
the
social media.
That's my take.
Live under a rock, guys.
Good.
Maybe don't have electricity and dial up internet is life.
Hey, it's not that extreme.
Okay, well,
Another episode, like I said.
Another episode. All good in the hood. But finding the right fit is key. Finding someone you feel comfortable with. Also, there is the therapeutic plateau. It's kind of like...
Ooh, what's this?
Oh, well, so you know how like when you are learning a new thing or you've connected with someone new, there's the really steep ramp up period where lots is happening, lots of change, lots of understanding, unlocking your past, blah, blah, blah. And then eventually you kind of get to the taper of, relationally, clinical relationship sort of in that sense.
Yeah.
And I often say to families that I work with and parents, hey, I'll let you know when we get to that taper, because sometimes while I've got clinical skills still in that space to be helpful, we've reached the point of we're not actually moving forward at that same momentum, and maybe you just need some fresh eyes or some fresh input in that space. And so that's not necessarily a indication of souring of the therapeutic relationship or, I got to dump you because, you're now giving me bad juju or whatever.
Yeah.
It's actually just, hey, I think we've gone as far as we can go as a team in the therapeutic space. And I think maybe a fresh set of eyes in what you're facing in the next seasons might actually be really healthy.
Yeah.
And so I want to just put it out there into the airwaves and into YouTube waves that it's absolutely cool if you feel like you're kind of getting a bit stagnant.
Yeah.
And maybe it might be time to freshen things up by someone new. But again, connection is everything.
Absolutely.
And
it
also
doesn't mean
just
that you
sitting there and
can't-
them not poking you anymore to re-dig or dig deeper, that's not a good sign. No. So, yeah.
So, yeah. Find someone to talk to, and I think you'll find it's good for you, no matter what stage of life you're at.
It's so good.
Yeah.
I look forward to chats with people that I care about that can allow me to vent and it be a safe space. You're one of those people, and I think that's why we look forward to sitting down together so much, to sit and record and to share our lives and to share, the lens of ADHD life can actually be quite a functional life.
Yeah. Surprise, surprise.
In amongst all of the disorganisation and chaos that our brains can present.
And the really one beefy arm because you spend all your day with your hand up in the air. Do you alternate which arms? Yes.
I've never really thought about that.
Because what happens if you just like doing it all the time, and you just like your right arm becomes really, your shoulder muscles are really developed because you're just doing this the whole time, and then your left arm's like.
Jeepers, I have not thought about this.
You're welcome.
This could be applied to many things.
Just watch her spiral now.
Well, no, because if you like, for example, I'm right hand dominant.
Yes.
Do I then raise my left hand because my right hand already gets a workout most of the day? I've not really thought about this from a biomechanics point of view. This is now starting to stress me out. Are you saying I look lopsided?
No.
Now I'm going to go look in the mirror after this in great detail. in a tank top, so I can really see the shoulder definition or not.
Have you got a spirit level? I just need to put it across my shoulders.
Spirit level for my shoulders. Okay, it's happening. The hand up theory does work, peeps. Otherwise, post it on your forehead. Something like, I don't know what, people used to tie a ribbon around their finger or something.
I used to write things on my hand occasionally.
Oh my goodness, that is a child of the late 80s, early 90s.
Tell me about it,
We used to write so much, and then our parents used to go,
Why are you writing on your hand?
It's toxic, your blood will be flammable. I don't know what they used to say. Okay.
Be flammable.
Oh, that's if you drink alcohol. That's the wrong one. Your blood will be flammable. Oh,
That's
no.
amazing.
Anyway, that was very insightful about what I was told as a child. No, but they used to say it's poison for your skin.
Yeah. I just didn't think they went as far as saying your blood would be flammable afterwards.
I was getting confused, okay? It's a bit late in the evening. I've done a work day and my brain's a little bit fudgesicle.
Yeah, we are recording this one at night time as opposed to the last few done during daylight hours.
Oh, yeah. That's probably why they were a bit more cohesive. Anyway, on that note, we feel that everyone should have a psych.
Yep.
A psychologist, a counsellor, someone that they can unpack life with.
Not a psychopath.
Not a psychopath. I don't think they would give sage advice or encourage you to be compassionate to yourself.
No.
And self-compassion is the greatest gift that anyone can give themselves.
Best investment you can make in yourself. Learning more about yourself.
1,000,000%. And those around you will benefit, if not you alone, everyone else around you will.
Yeah.
Because you won't be dragging all of your historical crap and dumping it all over people, and that being the lens that you see the world. Because I think we can be quite jaded about about life based on our past experiences, potentially.
It's true.
We could also have very rose-coloured glasses based on our past experiences and be very naive.
Yeah.
All of which could end up in poo-poo land. So be careful.
Yeah. And so I think we're done for the episode.
I think we are. Well, I'm Trish, and this is the excellent co-host, James.
That's it. You're stuck with me now.
And we're so chuffed, and we think that you should get yourself some real Zeal.
That's it.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
We're weirdos.
We sure are. That's why it works.
We're fidgeting with our 3 balls, our pair and a spare.
Or you could be like me, and just because you said dragon, all I can think is dragon these nuts. And so I think we're done for the episode.
I think we are.